Good morning. Today I want to show you everything or everything I know all about multiplying objects or making from one object many or copying objects or instancing objects, how you want to name it. So first and very easy way to make copy one object is of course the old known copy, Control C and Control V object, like copy and pasting. So you have then two objects. You can do the same also in the outliner here. You can go there, copy one object and paste, and then you have the copy at the exact same place where you copied the object. I can delete this once maybe first to clean. Another much easier way is to duplicate the object. This is like similar to copy paste, but at the when you duplicate object with Shift D, you go already into move mode. So usually then you don't need the second step to grab, copy paste and grab the object and do something. Probably you know also, like if you duplicate one object, if you go into the grab mode, you can already give an axis like x-axis and tell also how far it should go in this axis, like 3, and then it goes 3 units in the x direction. And similar way, but by connecting the original object and the copy of it is not Shift D but Alt D. If you do Alt D, and let's do it also in the x direction, the copy and object are linked to each other. It's a linked copy of it. That you, if you go to the edit mode and change the object, like moving this, the both copies are connected to each other that in their mesh information. So you can do many copies of an object, many linked copies of an object, if you can see here, that they become so linked that you, if you want to change later the shape of one, you say like maybe it is not in the right shape, then you can change all of these linked copies at once. So this is the Alt-D and or linked duplicate linked version of it. Let's close them again. You can delete with X the objects, but you can also delete them with the delete key. Then you don't need to confirm the deleting the object. Another nice trick here is if you duplicate an object and you want to put it in a, you want to do multiple duplications in the same distance to each other. So if I brought it here and you want to repeat this copy from here on, then all you need to do is Shift and R. This will repeat the last command and duplicating command will repeat it, and then you can do as many repetitions of this copying, object copying. Remember the Shift D is you can use for every kind of action which you want to repeat. You can repeat different actions, like you could also do the same. This is hard to say here with the rotation, but like if we will have here a cube and I want to rotate this cube several times, like maybe I'm making an animation, and I will rotate it R, Z, and let's say 10 degrees. And if I do now Shift R, every time it will rotate 10 degrees. So it's a useful command for everything. Let's delete these ones. These are all those linked copies. Let's select them all and delete them as well. This also. Delete this as well. So these are all the copy, paste, and duplicate actions in which we can have. Another way of multiplying the objects or copying the objects in a way is to instancing them in a very old fashion of Blender. This function was long been available, but less people use it. You go here to your object properties, and there is a tab called instancing. So if you go there to vertices, first it doesn't happen anything, but if you then make your one object a parent or child to another object which has this instancing, then it becomes in this space where it has been uh, so the child is instanced on the parent's edges, but it's on its same place. So the child object stays there, but it becomes instanced on an object of the parent, on a copy of the object of the parent on its all vertices. So if I go here to edit mode and move, we can see. So, but it is very confusing because in order that to function, they should be in the same place. So also the child must be on the origin. Let's select the child and the origin and bring it also to there. It doesn't happen because it is already there. So I have to move it. So it is pretty confusing. I will, if you want to use this option, then you have to really deparent it, clear parenting, and then put them both in the world origin, and then really again parent it down here and do it in this way. And still the sphere, the origin is visible. You have to make it invisible again, and then play with the parent object in order to make this copying. It is useful, but like there are several things which can be irritating and hinder really proper way of working. The third way to copy the objects is the old array function. So it works this way. So you go there and have again here this array modifier. Select this array modifier. It's already copied, and you can choose how far the instances are from each other. You can do it with a regular relative offset from each other, or you can do a constant offset. Let's close this. A constant offset of 1 meter or more. So in the relative offset, this is the factor depending on the size of each object. So in my case, so if I go here, sorry. So let's do it all 0 and just like go in the X direction. It is one object next to each other in the all object size. So in this way, they are barely touching each other there because one starts at the end of the other. But in the constant offset, you have a measure of it. So in this case, if you have the relative offset and you go to the edit mode and change, the distance between objects will change as well, depending on their size. So this is basically the size here on the dimension of the object, depending on this. The array modifier has also one with fit curve option. For this, we have to find also a curve. Here I have my curves. A simple curve I want. So where's my curve? It is. I think it is. I chose the wrong one. A curve. I want a Bezier curve. Let's say this is like this big. Choose the Bezier curve, and there the objects are placed again on this curve. Let's make it visible in front. Report display in front that we can see also this one, and they are fit into the size of this curve. But it is still very irritating because you have still the relative offset in the one direction of 1, so they don't really fit the curve. You can of course do that in another modifier, which is the curve modifier, adding to it again having the same curve, Bezier curve, and then in a way they will rise up on the curve, instanced on the length of the curve, so on. So this is still what we used until geometry nodes come out. Let's go to the geometry nodes. I will just for now skip the particle part. You go to geometry nodes. It is pretty easy to do this job in geometry nodes. You go here, make a new geometry node setting for this, and now you can again take another curve object. Let's make it a little bit bigger here. I will make another curve object here, and in my geometry node setting, I will take this curve as an input, as an input object info, and the pipette, I will select it, and I will take the instance on points node. So basically do it here. Now not connecting it yet. Let's put it here as well. So this is the object info which gives us the points, and the instance geometry is the ball. Let's put it here and connect it here. So I have this input of where to put them and what to put them. Where to put them is the points, and all the what to put them or the what to copy is the instances. So in this case, if I would change the shape, then it will also instance there. And I can put wherever I want put the parents. I can put them also inside the not the parent but the curve where they should be instanced. And I think so in the relative, yeah, if you take the relative, then you can have also here put them exactly on the points, and if I copy and put them points, you can have it like this. On every point you will have one, and even more if you go and make resample of this curve. This is by curve here, and operations, and resample the curve. Then you will make like a count, or you can make like a length of it. So every second, half meter of the curve, you can put new point, and on this new point, there is a new ball. And yeah, I think I had this length here evaluated. I am not sure what it makes, but it seems like to make a on regular stances, and count is like you make really out from the old curve 10 new points. So it is probably mixing here a little bit, but like here 5, you have this 5 points. Of course, I think that you have also the sample curve node. The sample curve node is if you have here, you can get the number of the curves. So, but you should take the resample one. Sample curve just gives you a lot of information about it, which you can also use for different operations. But here is the important one, is the resample curve. So this is the geometry nodes option, how to copy objects. And the fifth one, now here I counted it at 4, but the fifth one is multiplying an object with particles. In order to do this, we need first a particle simulation. I will make a very simple one out of a plane, and add here a particle simulation, just very regular one. And now they have like this physics, and they are falling down with gravity. But if you don't want this, you can turn it off, and then they stay on the surface of the object in a random way. And I think somewhere here you can make a here grid distribution, and now you have like here they're distributed on the grid, and now we have like this white placeholders which are called halos here, this and instead of this halos you can select an object, and the object, our object is of course our sphere 001. Yeah, and in this way you can like really go, and it goes through, and yeah, and then starts again. So this is just the movement, because the creation step is like this. You can do also like hexagonal grid, but they're on the grid. So, and you have to put the random also to 0. So in this way you have these ones, and yeah, well, if I will make it live longer, what happens? Let's make it here horizontal divide and a timeline. So this is how they go it, but I want them to, let's say they start all in 1 and they live, let's say 250, and now you have like all of them are here and they stay also. This is also another way to copy objects, although this is just like just a plane. on the surface of the plane. Of course, you can do the same if you will take a sphere and let's copy this particle system here. This is very easy. You select the sphere, shift click. Let's see, shift click so you don't see my screen curve. So it's just a little bit here. Screencast. I have to restart it. There's a bug. So I select the sphere. I select the object with the particles and Control L, and you copy the modifiers because the particle information is saved on modifier. So in this way, you have here the sphere with the particles with the same system, same instances. So now these are this 3 ways of 5, or I think it's more than 5 ways of how to copy and multiply objects in different scales. There is also like a trick is if you have one object in one scene, but you want to copy it or instance it in another scene, what you do is, let's do it in this way. I think let's do it again, a full copy of it. Sorry, not full copy, but like making an empty scene, new empty scene here. And here in this empty scene, I have to want another object from the for another scene. For this, I go here and open the scenes view in my outliner. And so you see all the objects in all the scenes are here. And this is my recent scene is the scene. And let's say I want this object to be here. Just like drag and drop here. So here drag and drop in the scene collection. And I have now here the same object from another scene. You don't. It's hard to see because there are no lights at the moment. But like, let's go here. Yeah, you have my particle object here. I just drag and dropped, and you have to notice that it has the same name. If you have an object with the same name, it is the same object. So therefore, Blender, if you copy an object, creates these zeros at the automatical names and the copy of the object with a 3-digit number in running order. But if they have the same name, then they are the same object. So if I will scale this object, and the original object is here in the particle scene, and I go there, it is also scaled. So if I will scale this down and go to the other scene, it's also scaled down. If I would play here with if I would play with this particle settings here, so let's say we do half of them, and if I go back to this scene, it is not updated. Okay. If I would wait, yes, it's not updated because I have to go back, but it is like here let's go to 0 and here to the 0, it is the same. So it was just like because my the scene doesn't update the timeline information. So if I go back to other scene, you see the time code or time thing is not there but here. So this is the way to how to copy one object to other without changing the same object. So you have an instance of one object in another scene, but it stays same object. Yeah, these are simply the different ways of copying objects. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and see you next time.